Hello, everyone, and welcome to twitch.tv/The Onyx Path, where we have gathered for Storypath Showcase Trinity Continuum Adventure. We are going to get into session one, City in the Sky, very shortly. But before we do, I have a couple of things I would like to go over. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that the Realms of Pugmire Kickstarter has begun. Um, in case you were unaware, that we are currently kickstarting the Realms of Pugmire core book, which is the second edition of Pugmire. We are currently, as of this moment, at 20,000, a little over 20,000 on a $30,000 goal. So if you've not yet done so, please head over there and check it out. If you're unfamiliar with the story of the Realms of Pugmire, the dogs have inherited the world, building the kingdom of Pugmire untold centuries after the ages of man are over. These dogs have been uplifted to use tools and language, and they seek to rediscover the ruins of the old ones. Some have learned to use the leftover technology of humanity, but they believe it to be magic handed to them by their lost gods. Others seek to create an ideal civilization using a code of man compiled from ancient fragmentary lore left behind by humanity. The world is a dangerous and mysterious place, but good dogs will persevere. So yeah, it is playing good doggos in a post-apocalyptic fantasy world that has some sci-fi just under the surface. So if that sounds, and it's using the newly minted Onyx 20 system, which I highly recommend you check out. There's a cat trying to break into my office, so hopefully they eventually become deterred and stop making noise that I hope you're not hearing. Um, Aside from Pugmire, I want to make sure to let you all know that over at Indie Press Revolution, there is a bit of a deal going on right now on various Onyx Path 5 ebooks are 50% off. So if you head over to Indie Press Revolution, you can get all sorts of the OGL stuff that we have put together in traditional print. You get that for half off. If you prefer to go to your friendly local game store, they can order the books and we pass on the savings to them. So you can help support your local businesses while you are also getting awesome books at a low price. And lastly, tomorrow is the Onyx Path founder and creative director Rich Thomas's birthday. So be sure to head over to Twitter and wish him a very happy birthday. And that's Rich underscore Thomas underscore OP. And you can also get some details on that over at the Monday meeting notes at theonyxpath.com. I think that is everything I wanted to share with you all. So before we dive into our tale, let's meet our cast of intrepid adventurers. And let's kick things off this time with Leko. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
Well, that's a list. I am Leca Rodriguez, he, him, a personal trainer specialized in weight loss and body recomposition. You can go to teamleco.com for a free consultation. I am playing Fabian Ortega, the Ferret, gentleman thief, and a former ne'er-do-well member of the Invictus Umbra, looking to redeem himself in the eyes of, well, someone, but not the law, because no.
Excellent. Next up, CJ, please give us your pertinence.
Hello, everyone. I am CJ. I am CJ Starry on pretty much everything. You can find me here. You can find me at TTRP_theater, and you can find me at Ink and Liar. My pronouns are they, them, and I'll be playing Sula, or Sue for short, whose pronouns I think are she, her. I'm still kind of playing with it, but for now, definitely she, her. And I'm really excited. Sula's sort of a field researcher type, definitely going to take the intellectual approach to things, and I can't wait to see how she grows as a character.
I'm looking forward to the journey. Chaz, please, your pertinence.
Hello, all. I am Chaz, he, him, PhD student who studies video game music and storytelling, and I am playing Martinique Rogers, a lovable chap who believes that to feel better, you need to have good friends and good food. And so he travels the world learning good food and also how to like punch people because sometimes you have to do that too.
Excellent. Excellent. I love it. And
The best food is earned through the plate setting of violence.
hey, one of my favorite moments in all of television history involved a cook beating the snot out of a couple of parishioners in True Blood. But we could digress. I could talk about Lafayette all day, and then we'd never get to game.
I've still never seen True Blood. This
Oh,
may
my
finally
goodness.
convince me to watch it. I'm a wildly uncultured being.
Oh, I'll send you a clip of that scene, and if that doesn't sell you on the show, nothing will.
It's a Lafayette show with occasionally vampires.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but most certainly not least, Bunny, please give us your pertinence.
Oh, right. I just got distracted before I even introduced myself. Hi, I'm Bunny and/or Millie. You can find me at twitch.tv/bunnyhearted or wherever bunnies are found at bunnyheartedvt. I am a cozy, comfy, trans and retro-styled VTuber, and I love making warm, welcoming, and inclusive spaces, and I'm so excited to be over here. I'm playing Bam's Butcher, who I'm very excited to rampage around with and crash a plane into the baddies. It's going to be a total mess, and I'm stoked to heck for this. And, maybe some character growth, maybe some heartbreak, maybe some shenanigans, but I'm here to crash a plane.
Wonderful. I promise you'll have an opportunity to do that.
Brilliant. I have a whole ability about it.
At least one opportunity to crash a plane tonight.
No breaks is a mess. Don't take no breaks.
I might grow as a person, but really I'm just here to crash a plane.
Exactly. Like emotional growth is cool and all, but like, have you ever seen an explosion? Oh my goodness.
Well, as Dr. Henry Jones Jr. once said, fly yes, land no. On that bright, shiny note, let's get this party started. Today it is Monday, January 27th, 1936. Please tell me where in the world is the ferret on a Monday evening?
Well, Mondays are the start of the work week, as most of my I would say endeavors take me through the weekend, late into the hour. So I would say that Monday is likely spent eyeballing the newspapers, the serials, and attempting to get a feel for the goings on of last week and learn about any pertinent, I would say, events or opportunities that may present themselves, whether it's a museum displaying some sort of jewel on tour from places beyond, or some debutante throwing a party for someone.
Let's see. And where do
With
you
espresso.
Enjoy your paper?
It's likely a cafe. It's probably, if it's you said is it, what time is it? Is it morning?
That's up to you. We can start in the morning, sure.
Then yeah, it would be in the morning. I would be enjoying an espresso, sipping it in a cafe. Yeah, just enjoying myself amidst my fellow proletariat.
And where in all of the globe would you be enjoying this paper and an espresso?
As
in a
far away
cafe?
from the last place I was.
All right. We'll say you are currently in, let's say, Montevideo, Uruguay.
Okay, sounds great.
As you're enjoying your espresso and reading your paper, you see a immaculately manicured set of fingernails come over the edge of your paper and tip it down to clear it out of the way and clear your view. You then see an old associate, an old friend of yours, as close to a friend as one gets in the Invictus Umbra anyway. You recognize this woman as Tatiana Ridewell. She is kind of a go-between. One might say a fixer.
Okay. Well, so as to not be rude, I will, uh, as I set my paper down, I will also stand and um, kind of put my hand out and say, well, I can't say that I expected to receive any delightful company this morning, but if you're in the mood for breakfast, I hear the selection's delightful here.
I would love to break bread with you. And she sits down across from you. Um, she reaches into her blazer, produces an envelope, tosses it down on the table in between you. And she says, I know you're a busy man, Fabian, so I don't want to waste too much of your time, but I have an opportunity for you. Uh, and, well, let's just put it this way: an opportunity came across my desk, and you were the best person I could think of for the job.
I'll just cut right to it. I haven't even had time to butter your muffin.
Mm. As much as I would love having my muffin buttered, time is a bit of the essence here, as the job is going to require you to procure some transportation.
Travel. Well, I do love a runabout. Where are we going?
Well, we aren't going anywhere. Once we have finished our delightful uh, exchange, I am going back to New York City. You are going to attend a ball. Um, the details, such as they are in that envelope. Um, an invitation was passed on to one of the elder members, you might say, of our association, but uh, he is unable to attend. So he wanted me to find a suitable um, second to go in his stead. And while you're there, there is a item that they would also like you to attempt to acquire.
This does seem like something I would be qualified for. Is there, I suppose you wouldn't happen to know who's currently in possession of this item and whether or not they were going to be upset when, well, it's repatriated.
Oh, I absolutely do know who is in possession of the item. It is a Dr. Nash Topal. Um, Dr. Topal is also, you'll note, the person throwing this soiree that you'll be attending. Um, so I would recommend. It's always rude to, you know, relieve someone of their possessions before dinner. So
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
go enjoy the activities, the company. If you can gather any additional information on Dr. Topol's possessions and capabilities, we would certainly be interested in hearing about them. But the thing that you are looking for is a crystal skull.
Is it not to be morbid, but is it the size of of an actual skull?
It is the size of an actual skull, yes. I'm sure someone of your breeding and education is well aware that a number of these have shown up in the last decade or so by antiquities dealers claiming that they have Mayan origin. Now, that's absolute nonsense. There's couldn't be further from the truth. These things are absolutely fakes. But what is true about this particular crystal skull is that before it was placed in Dr. Topal's possession, a rival of ours had it in theirs. And while in their possession, they placed two very important artifacts within the eye sockets of this skull. Those are what you will be bringing to us. But I must caution you, whatever you do, do not remove the gemstones from that crystal skull. We need it intact and untampered with.
And a warning. Wow. I mean, it's very rare that I receive such a complete briefing this early.
We want to make sure that you are going into this situation armed with the tools to succeed.
And who would we be if we didn't succeed? I think I have just the right person in mind to help us facilitate this endeavor.
Well, I hope whoever they are, they're a pilot. If you'll excuse me, she gets up and takes off, leaving the envelope and setting down a second envelope that's more of like a manila envelope type on the table as she takes her leave from you.
Well, considering having just arrived in Uruguay, I imagine that my ride here is probably still working on their plane. So I will down my espresso, and while I start strolling away, I will begin whistling on my way to see the butcher.
The butcher, excellent. uh,
I have one question for
Yes.
the butcher, though. What is the
Sure.
name of your plane?
I haven't decided yet.
Excellent.
We could name it together.
Oh, this is all you.
I was thinking a name like the Scoundrel would be kind of fun.
Nice.
the Scoundrel is a fun name.
The Magpie Century, for some reason, appeals to me.
I love it.
Might be a little too small. I mean, Magpie is actually quite nice.
Yeah, the magpie's nice.
Yeah.
The magpie is nice. We'll get to the butcher and you momentarily, because first I would like to poke my head in on Sula Farron. On this lovely Monday morning, where in the world is Sula Farron?
Well, I would say probably in this particular time, actually likely to be New York. In fact, if it's probably quite early there if we're going for direct translation from morning in. Oh no, did you say you were in Uruguay?
Yeah, Uruguay. So it's like an hour later.
Okay, not too bad. So yeah, it's probably headed to the Met at the moment to do some consulting work that she's agreed to do in one of her areas of speciality. So
Excellent.
she is nearly there, right around the bottom of Central Park as we speak, just taking a leisurely walk.
Excellent. As you're walking through the city, it's bustling. It's very busy. Beginning of the work week in New York City is one of the busiest places on the planet. So you're sort of just making your way through the crowds of humanity, and eventually do make your way up to the Met. As soon as you arrive, you are greeted by a security guard who says, Dr. Farron, this package arrived for you by courier just about an hour ago.
Really?
Yeah, they said it was deeply important that that you get this right away, and more importantly, they tipped me $5. So here you go.
Well, it must be something very important, and I do think I'll look at it right now. Thank you.
It's a simple envelope, no outer markings.
Right. Well, I'm just going to step inside, and yes, thank you again. I'll see you when I leave around lunch then. And she'll walk inside where it's a little more covered, a little less prying eyes sort of situation, because you never know what you're going to receive in an unmarked envelope. And with that, she will just peel the little tabs away and peel it open and see what's inside.
As you open it up, there is a letter typed. It says, Dr. Farron, I've long been an admirer of your work, and I believe that we have quite a bit we could share with one another. In the spirit of doing so, I would invite you to join me for a celebration on Friday
Right.
at the coordinates listed below.
And she'll pull out a little journal she keeps in the inside pocket of her jackets, and so she's going to copy down the information. Friday.
It should be the 31st,
soiree.
if my math isn't terrible.
Friday, 31st at coordinates.
And you notice the coordinates, you immediately clock those coordinates are in the southern hemisphere.
Right.
And they also include an altitude.
South hemisphere, altitude, and is just kind of scribbling those down, and is really honestly probably going to go find a map pretty quickly after reading that letter. Is going to be like, well, I'm in a museum, and
Make your way over to a map. Excellent.
yeah, probably somewhere back behind the scenes. There's probably some maps the curators are in possession of. That
Sure.
would
If nothing
be a
else,
little more detailed.
there's a very good likelihood there's a globe on your desk.
True.
You can spin that sucker around, and you find the coordinates are directly above nearly the dead center of the Indian Ocean.
And immediately goes back to the letter to see if there's any sort of explanation as to like how she's going to get to this place.
None whatsoever. All that you know is that the coordinates are 20,000 feet above a point in the center of the Indian Ocean.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I guess we haven't found everything yet. And it's just going to 20,000 feet above Indian Ocean, exclamation mark. And then just, I think I'm going to need a plane. And starts thinking through any contacts she might have in order to get to this soiree above the Indian Ocean.
What would you like to utilize one of your paths, perhaps?
Yes, I think realistically speaking, of the well, I've got my path of field researcher, because I was going to say society path was my natural inclination, but I think perhaps as a field researcher, she probably does know a handful of pilots that tend to get people to where they need to be, whether it's a dig site or something similar. And so her first thought might be to ring up perhaps either someone directly or a university she's worked with to see if they can connect her with a pilot to go to the Indian Ocean.
Sure. Let's say you have a contact over at Empire State University.
Okay.
And just to make things interesting, what attribute would you like to lean on while you're activating this path?
I think ideally in this situation, it would just be a matter of, would you say perhaps presence is sort of the,
Sure, presence is kind of...
I'm well known. I've done you favors, you've done me favors. Let's work something out.
Presence is very much force of personality, drawing on kind of existing relationships or just your overall kind of presence, your overall strength of your being. So that would be totally fine. So why don't you go ahead and give me a presence and your path rating roll. We'll roll that number of dice, and your target number, I do believe, is 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Now, sorry, you will. This is my first time playing Trinity Continuum. You'll have to remind me. Are these D10 rolls or are
yes, you are rolling D10s.
A D10 for each mark.
That is correct. If you you can ignore ones unless you get no successes.
Okay.
And
give it a shot.
Tens you would count and then re-roll as well.
Okay, yeah, so just like Scion. Scion
Yes.
I've played. All right, so and do I add anything to those marks that I have in composure or sorry, presence, or is it just presence?
Presence and your rating and your path, so that would be one extra die.
One extra die, then yeah. Brilliant. Okay, cool. Let's see how we do. No tens, so we're not popping off there. And so our total here is 16.
Oh, you don't need to add them. You
Oh,
just look
sorry.
for you look for numbers that are 8 or above.
Okay, then the total numbers that are 8 or above is just 2.
Excellent. Okay. That is a glorious result. They say absolutely we can get you a plane down to say maybe Brazil, Argentina. Why don't you head to the airport and we will get things ready for you. I'll have to see if we might need to get you a connecting flight somewhere.
That would be splendid. And then I'll just need someone to get me to the Indian Ocean. I'll get them the exact coordinates, but of course, it would be easier if we did a bit of a stop off halfway, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll get on the wires and see who we've got on the southern side of the globe. But we can certainly get you down that way with a quickness.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And as always, do let me know if there's anything you need.
Of course, we look forward to hearing about your exploits and travels.
I'm sure there'll be some interesting stories.
And speaking of interesting stories, Martinique, where in the world are you cooking on this Monday? Or perhaps maybe it's Monday evening where you are in the world. I'm not sure. Where in the world would you be?
Let's say we're in St. Bart's.
Okay, excellent. And as you are working, what sort of establishment would you like to be plying your trade in?
Just a little hole in the wall place. I just arrived here not too long ago, applied as just like a line chef, just, getting a lay of the land and every once in a while be like, oh my gosh, look how good this tort is. How did that happen?
Excellent. While you are doing your prep work, can just stand there back in the kitchen working. You hear a definitely feminine tone of a woman clearing her throat behind you.
You really shouldn't do that in the kitchen.
As you turn, you see what I can only describe as the most beautiful woman you've ever laid eyes upon. You immediately notice her eyes are the most piercing blue you've ever seen. It's like looking directly into a pristine sky. But it might be the way her makeup is applied, it might be the curvature of her lips. There's a slight hint of menace to her appearance. Something a bit dangerous about her. She says, I apologize for interrupting a master during his work. I am Aura Zephyr. I have been looking for you, Mr. Rogers.
Rogers. Yes, I do apologize. I tend to flitter from here to there.
Oh, it's no worries at all. My employer has heard tales of your culinary talent and has sent me to specifically gather you for a event that we are planning this weekend. I hope your calendar is not full.
I mean, I am but a humble chef, but I can make room for certain employers soon.
This is the your stipend for the weekend. In addition, you'll also note the wage is listed within the envelope. She hands you a envelope that is remarkably thick.
Hmm.
You crack it open. It's full of Benjamins.
That's a. Did you walk in here with this? That's not. You gotta hide this at least.
There are a few places on this earth I go where I fear for my personal safety.
Yeah, I'm about to die. Okay. I think at this point, Martinique's going to fully realize what's going on and just go like, "Yep, if this is what we're doing, all right." That's I think my calendar. I can make room in my calendar for a generous soul such as yourself and your employer.
Beautiful. I look forward to sampling your delights. Um, my plane is at the airport. Uh,
Did you say plane?
yes.
Okay.
Is that a problem?
No, no, no. Just give me a sec. And I want to go to get this is St. Bart. So there's rum somewhere. And I want whatever would constitute letting me get comfortable for the plane ride.
Excellent. You have ample amounts of money. This is more than in that envelope is more than some people make in a year.
Right.
So you're absolutely able to get yourself 9 sheets if you would like to. That is. She just asked you to be at the airstrip at sundown.
Can do. I will see you then.
Excellent. So, Butcher, at this early hour on a Monday, have you slept yet?
Pretty sure sleeping is illegal.
Excellent. I'm imagining, since you're in Montevideo, we've established that you're kind of working alongside with the ferret, if that's acceptable
Yeah,
to
I
you.
think I'm up with that. I do have a question for the ferret. Do I know you as the ferret or Fabian?
So the answer would probably be yes, because there are 2 things that he would tend to stow when he's traveling. One is he generally carries like his one luggage bag, and then there's like a bundle, a long bundle. It looks kind of like something like the size of a large tent, really. And you haven't seen him use it yet, but he always has it with him, and it just kind of sits in the hold when he's traveling.
That's deeply suspicious. I love it.
Yeah. He hasn't used it yet.
The things that are not rifles, for sure.
Yeah, not rifles, no.
So, given that sleep is legal and you are traveling with this fine fellow, where would you find yourself at about 9:30 a.m. local time on a Monday?
I actually like the suggestion of working on her plane. I imagine it was a bit of a journey to get here. I'm curious about what genre of plane I am allowed to have, because I think it needs to have room for a few people in it. And I was wondering about a flying boat.
Sure, I'll allow it. Why not? Absolutely.
Because they were all over the place in the 30s. Really adorable, completely ridiculous. The best planes. So that sounds good.
Excellent.
So probably, sipping on some really abysmal coffee that was made probably with the overheating engine, and trying to do some desperate repairs this morning. I imagine Babs is completely covered in oil and grime and slime, but maybe the engine is just kicked off and is actually starting to go again.
Excellent. One of the sort of I forgive me, I don't know the aerial equivalent of a pit crew, but one of the folks that kind of works the tech at the airport comes running out to the airstrip where you're working, waving a piece of paper. Hey, butcher!
Wow, what is it? What is it? Bring it over here.
This just came in over the wire for you.
Oh my God, that's so fancy. Show me right away.
He hands you the piece of paper, and you can tell he's kind of like
imagine
getting like he's got like a very Giovanni Ribisi and Sky Captain sort of vibe as he's kind of watching you read. It's a telegraph, just requesting that you deliver a passenger who is due to arrive early tomorrow morning on Friday to these coordinates, and lists a set of coordinates and an altitude.
What? I need to look at the map. Pull out one of those massive folding maps and just like put it across the ground and scour through, do a bunch of terrible math and try to figure out where the hell this is pointing to.
As you are sort of sorting out the coordinates and double checking, because you're like, I couldn't have read this right the first time.
This can't. The wires must have crossed. Can you wire back to them? They are insane. Thank you.
Can do. Anything else?
Right. No. Tell them I double the usual fee. This is ridiculous.
Will do. Thanks a lot.
Are we landing on a blimp? I'm not doing that again. I don't have wheels properly, remember?
On a blimp?
This thing's a boat.
Well,
we're not sitting on a blimp.
Well,
or a zeppelin.
Listen, I didn't send the wire, but this wasn't me. I just brought it.
I'm blaming you because it's fun.
That's fine. I'll send them back and just see if there's anything they might have missed. Oh,
that sounds good. That sounds good.
Excuse me, Fabian. And he turns and almost bumps into the.
Well, if it isn't Mr. the Ferret, how you doing?
Babs, my bold and bombastic bellicose bombardier, how does the morning find you?
Pretty beautifully.
I will offer in one hand a fresh cup of coffee and in the other a warm sandwich.
I think she's going to dramatically dump out the coffee that she made earlier and take the coffee that you gave her and then start
sort
drinking that instead.
Like a solid block of coffee grounds that are vaguely moist fall out of the cup, and she collects the offering.
I just kind of choke it back. Seems my downtime has been delightfully interrupted by an endeavor requiring that I sprout both wings and dancing legs. While I am in possession of the latter, the former presents a challenge that I'm hoping you haven't become too booked to assist me with.
Well, I do have perhaps a booking tomorrow morning to go to the moon. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, what do you make of
What are you
these?
looking for?
I will offer the envelope with the info that it contained.
It is the same coordinates.
Go look at the map again, do all the same math, draw a giant X over the giant X that is already drawn on this map from moments ago.
It's dead center of the Indian Ocean.
Is there an island?
Do you know where you're going?
Well, so it's my understanding that this is an invitation to a ball being thrown by a certain Dr. Nash.
About 20,000 feet above the Indian Ocean.
20,000 what's in the where?
Don't worry about it. Having sudden remembering of the moment of inspiration that Babs experienced and a little bit of excitement, I'll get you there.
They did say that I would need a plane. I didn't realize. I thought maybe it was just a jaunt. Who knows?
It's a bit of a jaunt.
It's been strange times. You're familiar with this location? I point to the other X that's the other X.
There might be another passenger.
Really intriguing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know anything about them yet, though. They're probably a fancy type if it's a dance.
At least. Well, I suppose we can always. Where are you meeting them? I don't want to assume that you can, make such a journey, but I can promise that it'll be worth your while.
Well, color me curious and excited. 2 X's mark this spot. I gotta check it out.
It's inarguable. When will you be ready to leave?
When do you need to go? I mean, if we're doing a 2 for 1, it sounds like the other passenger's here in the morning.
Well, the ball is in, what day was it?
The ball is on Friday.
And it is Monday?
It is Monday.
Well, we have the week to perhaps spend some quality time with your new passenger and maybe figure out why they're going. And, but I would hope that if push came to shove, you bring your dancing shoes as well.
Well, of course. Some of them are built in the wings, but I got my holster one too.
Right.
Oh, those dancing. I don't have dancing shoes. I just got these shitty boots. Every time I get new boots, they just turn to shit immediately. Something about the sky.
They will click and jive just fine, I'm sure. Well, then I'll go ahead and make sure that I have everything ready here. Is there anything I can get for you?
I know. I greatly appreciate this coffee. I should probably sleep.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. I'll be back with my things.
Excellent.
Bonsoir. It's morning. Bon matin. Good morning.
And
Can I have more coffee?
with that, we zoom out and zoom back in the in the Big Apple, the great city of New York. Sula, you have made your arrangements, and how would you like to get to the airport? I don't even know what the airport's called right now because it's not either. It's certainly not LaGuardia, and it's definitely not JFK.
Yeah. No, are they both there at this
I
point?
think only LaGuardia is there, and I think it's called, and I'm sure it's called something else, but I don't know what. So New York International Airport.
I think there's actually a very small airport just on the other side, just barely in Jersey for private jets and
Like
small
Newark?
planes.
You're gonna go to like Newark.
It's not even.
Excellent.
Wait, what is a jet?
How would you right, exactly, yeah. How would you get to Newark then as you're leaving the Met?
Very carefully.
Excellent. We'll say you hop on the train. Hop on the,
I can get to what's it called? Yeah, I can get on the train to the junction there.
All right. You're on the Long Island Railroad making your way over to Jersey to catch your flight out.
The caucus. That's it.
And while you're heading there,
I don't even know if it was called that then.
we're playing fast and loose with the facts. Feel free to bust us out in chat when we get something historically wrong. And
Someone's like, Secaucus didn't exist in 1930.
Right. And we'll all
False.
just point at the chat and go, "Oh, look, we had that wrong." As you're on your train on the way there, I would like you to go ahead and give me an integrity roll. And this integrity roll is going to be based on your how aware you are of your surroundings. So you can pair that with an attribute that you think would be most fitting to kind of how you perceive the world around you.
I would personally say, if I'm interpreting it right, that cunning would probably be a good, I feel like...
That's totally fine, yeah.
Cunning, intellect, composure, I feel like all of those kind of would work to figure out surroundings. But in her case, I would liken cunning to streetwise a little bit. So
okay. Perfect. So yeah, let's get an intellect and cunning roll, please.
You can hear my dramatic clock in the background.
It's all right. It's good to mark.
All right, so we've got, goodness, is that... Okay, this one, the 10 is a blank for some reason. So that's going to pop back off. So we've got one success there. Not a success, not a success, another success, not a success. And we'll pop that 10 back. Okay, that's 3 successes.
Excellent. As you're sitting there on the train, and what would you be, I would assume you're going to be doing something rather than just sort of sitting there stoic on the train. So what would you be doing to kill time on the train ride?
Really reading a newspaper, probably making a few notes. If there's anything relevant, even if she doesn't immediately think it might be relevant, she probably keeps a notebook of like notable current events, or she keeps a note of current events in her notebook. So she's just scanning the newspaper, occasionally jotting something down in her journal, then back to the newspaper. And, train to Secaucus is, it's not a short journey.
Right,
so
sure.
she's got a little bit of time.
Yeah, and as you're sort of looking through the paper, the most notable event is that there was a jazz club in Boston that had over the weekend had a fire. Everyone got out safely, partially due to the intervention of members of the Aeon Society. But according to rumors, there were some strange metallic men seen at the scene of the crime. Unfortunately, the eyewitnesses weren't able to give very strong descriptions of them. But that's probably the most noteworthy thing that you notice in the paper. But as you're looking through this article, you also do notice a pair of gentlemen hop on just before you leave the actual city proper. And you clock that they're looking at you and trying very hard to not look like they're looking at you. And you got a total of 3 successes, correct?
Yes.
You also clock a rather uncomfortable looking lump underneath one of their coats, at least, that's vaguely pistol shaped.
Got an uncomfortable looking lump of my own. I think that Sula is noting this and for a moment is pretending to ignore them, and then, afternoon, gentlemen.
They kind of look at one another and then look at you and then look around the train car. There's probably about 20 people on this train car right now. They say hello. Dr. Farron, we presume?
Oh, interesting. So you do know my name. I thought you were just looking at me because I'm pretty.
Well, one of them kind of starts blushing, the other one elbows him. As enjoyable as looking at you is, we actually have a little bit of business with you.
All right, then. Are you going to get off at my stop with me, or would you like to conduct business here?
He looks around the car again and says, well, I'd prefer to just get off at the next stop with you rather than try to conduct any business here. You see, we feel you might have fallen in with a undesirable fellow, and we would like to relieve you of the burden of dealing with that.
And how exactly do you plan to relieve me of that burden?
Well, you recently received a package. I assume that package had in it an invitation and some coordinates, correct?
She doesn't feel any need to be particularly cagey about this, so yes. Of course, you already knew that, or you wouldn't be here.
All we need is the envelope, and then we'll be on our merry. Your face.
I don't have it. And she's being honest. I would say probably after she, and I had meant to mention this and then I didn't, but after she wrote down the information in her journal, she probably would have destroyed the letter.
That's fair. And totally in character and in world makes sense. He raises an eyebrow and his companion says, I told you this was a waste of time.
Where are you boys from? Or should I ask, who are you working for?
He says, where we're from is immaterial, but who we are working for is an interested party who wishes to make sure you don't fall into the grasp of Dr. Topol. You see, our employer believes his work is reckless, dangerous, and inflammatory, you might say, to his own goals.
Dr. Topol's work is reckless and inflammatory.
She is writing it down.
Work. What sort of work is what sort of work does he do exactly that's so inflammatory and reckless?
Come now, Doctor. You must be familiar with Dr. Topol's work. Why else would he have invited you to his soiree?
Well, he said he was a fan. It wouldn't be the first time.
Why don't you just tell me where and when this thing is going down and we can part ways peacefully?
Well, you see, I contacted someone to take me, but as far as I know, it's in the middle of an ocean, so your guess is as good as mine.
Which ocean?
Come now. You think I'm just going to give that away? You haven't even told me who you work for, an interested party. And that could be anything from some nefarious organization to my daddy. I mean, my father, not anything strange that doesn't happen yet because this is the 1930s.
His partner with the accent says, enough of this, and stands up and pulls forth a pistol The pistol itself, though, you immediately recognize the design of this pistol. You've seen it actually passed around in some academic circles. It is a foul device known as the ram's head regulator.
Ooh,
It
okay.
fires caloric energy at its victim and cooks them from the inside out.
You know, if you use that, you definitely won't be getting any information out of me.
He says, I am a very good marksman. I can shoot to wound, and aims at your thighs.
Oh, ouch. Well, like I said, I don't have the envelope, but I can give you the C, I guess.
And that is?
Just looking to see what I'm gonna need to roll. When she looks at his stone face and says, "The Red Sea, of course."
Excellent. So that would probably be, you could rely on command, you could rely
Manipulation?
on empathy as far as skills go. Command, empathy, larceny is often used for lying.
I'll go with command for skills, and then I think, even though I'd like to argue cunning, I do think manipulation is probably the go-to here.
I mean, cunning is totally fine, thinking on your feet.
Okay. I'll take that because I'm a little bit better at cunning.
Sure, go for it. I'll allow it.
Let's see here. 5 and what did I say I was going with? Command. All right, let's try this. One more.
And
All right.
before you tell me
What?
any results, I do want you to
Yeah.
know there is going to be a complication of 2 to this roll because they really want that proof.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, so how many successes in total did you receive?
5.
Excellent. You notice that the other people on the train car are definitely panicked. Several of them are sort of backed into their seats. One of them is holding up a briefcase in front of his face. And the gentleman holding the pistol slowly puts it away and says, very well.
Like I said, I don't know the man. Not gonna put my life on the line for him. So I'll see you there.
If you value your life, I would suggest you skip the party. And he motions with his head, and he and his friend get up and move to another train car.
Ta-ta.
Excellent. The remainder of the ride is relatively uneventful. You do see them get off at the next stop. However, one of them appears to be either like looking in his jacket or possibly fiddling with something. You're not quite sure what he's doing, but it's definitely a strange maneuver. You do notice that as the train is pulling off.
Odd fellows. Hope I don't have the pleasure of encountering them again.
Excellent. And you continue the rest of your train ride in peace. Martinique,
Good.
as you are well ensoused, you eventually gather your things and make your way to the airstrip.
Yeah.
How drunk are you planning on getting?
I mean, I normally get a little bit tipsy when I fly with Babs, but I don't know this person, so I'm trying to get like drunk enough that I'm not really sure what's going on, but not so drunk that I can't walk to the airstrip.
If I had to assign it a value of between 1 and 5 that would represent the complication for the amount of alcohol you've imbibed, What would you suggest I make that number?
Probably 3. We're like, yep, I can still recognize what this is. Keep going.
Excellent. As you arrive at the airstrip, probably by car, and sort of stumble out of the car, your employer begins walking over to you. She says, "I trust your preparations went well."
Excellent.
Good, good. The pilot is all gassed up and ready to go. We'll be heading out in about 10 minutes. She looks over her shoulder, and a couple of gentlemen come up and start collecting your bags and putting them in the undercarriage of the biplane. And she turns and smile as bright as the world, just says, "I look forward to getting the chance to know you on this journey while we're in the air." And then go ahead and give me an empathy roll if you don't mind.
You're good at that, Martinique.
And
Empathy.
what this is going to be about reading a facial expression. So what attribute would you like to lean on for that?
A facial expression. Empathy, and I want to say composure, maybe. Like,
Okay, sure, yeah. Trying to hold it together
Yeah.
and not vomit while you're trying to figure out what you're
Right.
saying. It's fair. Hard to be sexy while you're Technicolor yawning, man. Just hold it together.
And the number is
I guess-
8, right?
I guess it would be cinema scope. Anyway, your target number is in fact 8. Yes.
I got 4 7s. Holy crap!
Oh, that
But
is
just 110.
all right. Excellent. So, you because you succeeded, but were unable to buy off the complication due to your booze. I will allow you to either forward that complication onto your next action, or forward that complication. You either forward the complication on your next action, or you just will notice but not in time to act.
No, it's but not time to act.
Excellent. Okay. So when it is time for you to act, you'll effectively go at the end of the initiative cycle. You see her expression go from like warm and inviting to almost like panicked terror as she says, "Get to the plane now." Kind of looking over your shoulder past you.
Okay. I guess I'll get to the plane as quickly as I can, which I assume is still not that quickly, but
You just start beelining for the plane, not looking back, nothing.
yeah, that sounds like what he would do. He's like, at this point, I don't like anything was happening, so let's just go in this direction.
Give me just a half a second here as I juggle a couple of the screens. There we go.
The anticipation's killing me.
Excellent. There is, you hear the bark of machine gun fire as a pair of Thompson submachine guns are released behind you.
Should have stayed on the beach.
Excellent. The bullets ricochet around. You can see a couple of bullet holes get knocked in the side of the plane. You see one bullet go through and like lift Aura's hair.
Okay.
She says, "Damn it, man, move!" and takes off running for the plane. What would you like to do?
If we're talking machine guns, I have this thing called Swift, and it specifically says it's good for chasing things down.
Yeah, so you can add effectively 1 to your scale when you're in a foot chase.
Could it be the reverse when I'm being chased by?
Oh,
bullets?
absolutely, yes. You can.
Yeah, I feel like
absolutely-
this is the time to let's just
So
beeline it.
this is a rubber meets the road moment for Martinique. Do
Yeah.
you attempt to scoop Aura up in all of your rushing, or are you just forget the girl and going for the side of the plane?
Yeah, I have to scoop her up. Like both of us have to get to the plane, or else we're gonna wait. Yeah, pick
Excellent.
up and then.
Well, under the normal run of things, I would never make you roll for this, but because you are verschnickered, I would
Yeah.
like you to go ahead and give me like a athletics roll. If you really sell a case, I could possibly be talking to close combat, but otherwise it's probably going to be an athletics roll to scoop her up and move. Now, the bright side is you have the scale enhancement from Swift that applies.
Mhm.
So that will give you an automatic of 2 enhancement, but remember you have 3 complication because you are lit.
I feel like athletics just makes more sense. Yeah, we'll do athletics might.
Excellent. I love it.
Do better than last time. 3 successes.
Excellent. So, that is sufficient to achieve your task and overcome the complication. So you throw her over your shoulder and you kind of step to the side a little bit. You feel like the wind off of one of these rounds kind of go through under your arm as you get her up over your shoulder, and she says, "Oh my, Mr. Rogers, thank you." It's a sentence I never thought I'd utter in that you dive onto the side of the plane while the plane is taking off. And you sort of landed in the seat with her kind of splayed across you. And as she slowly crawls over into the chair next to you, you feel her run her hand along your side gently. And it's almost like an angel rubbing against you. And then she says, "I think you're hit."
I'm gonna just channel as much denial as I can right now. I don't want to deal with it just yet. I'm probably shot, but
She pulls her fingers back and you see there's no blood. And then you feel her hand reach like under your coat. And then she pokes her finger out through the hole and holds it up where you can see it. "You're a very lucky man, Mr. Rogers."
I mean, luck's been on my side for a while. I'll be honest, I don't feel lucky when getting shot at, but we're alive, and that's good. That's all you can ask.
She says, "Excuse me a moment," and she sort of like leans over and like crawls up, so it's just like you're just getting the full view of her from behind as she leans into the cockpit to talk to the pilot, and then again with almost like serpentine motion, sits back down and looks over at you and says, "We're going to have to make a pit stop. Actually, one of our engines was hit, so we won't be able to make it all the way to our original destination."
Is there anything I can do to force myself to black out now?
Like force yourself to forget, or like just like pass out?
Pass out
I
because
mean, I'll allow
I'm
it. That's fine. That's
in a plane, the engine's hit, we might not make it. We're on St. Bart's, but that's a hellish place to land anyway, because there's a mountain right there. There's too much. I don't want to be here right now.
The question is, do you just pass out, or do you shriek and pass out?
I feel like the shriek wouldn't even get there. Once there was the engine's hit. Yeah, that's all I got.
Beautiful. As the day passes, are the ferret and butcher doing anything besides getting the plane ready, getting yourselves ready? Is there anything you want to look into or anything you want to attempt while you're waiting for your passenger to arrive?
Well, since there's looking for information on people's tricky in the 30s. So
It is a bit. I mean, you
and
could head to the library and start looking through microfilm if you wanted to.
I could, but that's not real. Like that's not his style. It's not how I roll. Right? Like I would much rather go in blind than go in well read. Okay.
Got to get yourself a yellow pages.
Yeah, right. But I do know that someone else is coming and going to the same place. So they might be a sucker. So that's worth considering. Um, so I will does Babs prefer Babs or Butcher or
Babs, please.
Babs? Okay. Babs, what do you know about the other passenger?
Absolutely nothing. I thought that they were insane when they asked me, and then you asked me to go to the same place. So now I figure you're both crazy, and that sounds fun.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't my choice of destination. It was brought to my attention by an associate.
Um,
But
well, that
curious,
explains
sir,
Vixen.
the person throwing the ball seems eclectic at least. Um, maybe if this place is really in the sky, and maybe it's a ship, maybe it's a blimp or a balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some sort of
There's all sorts of things out there. Who's to say?
question for the story guide.
Yes.
How much do we know about Tellurian stuff? And like, I know that Fabian knows a bit about like the occult, and that's a thing. So is considering that maybe it's like magical, maybe there's a magical place in this?
It's not impossible. You also do live in the Telluric age.
Super
It's
science?
not uncommon for you to see the occasional newsreel about, for example, the adventures of Dr. Primoris or the
Okay.
exploits of Danger Ace. As you're thinking back on it, you remember something probably. Well, you grew up kind of sequestered, right?
Initially, yes, but then they started working for the Invictus, and
Okay, so
after
you
that,
probably remember from your early days, probably about a decade ago, seeing a newsreel about an attack on the city of New York by a person who called themselves the Tyrant of the Skies.
a little on the nose.
If memory serves you correctly, his name was Dr. Manfred von Zorbo, and he attempted to steal the Empire State Building
Okay.
by using anti-gravity devices to rip it from its foundation.
Hey,
So
I
it's-
love this.
He declared that humanity's future was in the sky, that that the resources on the Earth were being overrun, polluted, and the surface was overpopulated. So he intended to lead a charge to take humanity to the skies. After he was soundly defeated by members of the Aeon Society, he hasn't been heard from since.
hasn't been heard from, or was he captured?
No, he was.
He got away.
His whereabouts remained unknown.
Well, so there's a chance then, I mean, unlikely as it might be, that either someone be carrying on this Manfred von Zorbo's work to whatever ends. Not to say it's necessarily nefarious, but if I'm being sent there, whatever they're doing has captured the attention of some very interested people.
I'm assuming someone calling themselves the Sky Tyrant is someone Babs would be familiar with.
Yeah, you've absolutely heard stories about Dr. von Zorbo, and you are a member of the Air Circus, am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're also aware that while he himself has not been seen for ages, neither has his sky platform, the Erie. Members of the Air Circus periodically lock horns with his disciples, a group that call themselves the Ornithopter Hoplites. They wear
Ornithoplites. The Skyrant and his ornithoplites. I'm very familiar.
they wear flying apparatus and periodically get into fights with the air circus. They think of themselves as the guardians of the skies. None shall take to the air but by their permission.
Well, I'm offended.
They're a bunch of sky clowns. It's like one of those party balloons that got stuck up there, but are really annoying.
Be a shame if someone popped them, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's fun though.
Well, we can hope. Do we hope that
See what
it is
happens.
Zorbo or that it isn't Zorbo? I don't know what we're hoping. We can hope to learn more.
By the way, I'm excited because this won't be boring.
I'm afraid not. I find myself struggling with how much there's a part of me that wants to tell Babs what's going on, and there's a part of me that's like, but I'm still a criminal. I'll sit on it for them.
Torn between worlds at home and neither. Oh no.
I sit on the fainting couch.
Excellent. The next morning, 2 planes arrive in rapid succession at the airport. One from New Jersey, carrying the passenger, Dr. Farron, that you were wired about in New York. The other coming in from St. Mark's. And the one that's coming in from St. Mark's, like, you see the plane coming in from New York, kind of as you're having your morning coffee out on the runway. And then you see, like, right as it's landing, another plane coming in that's, like, kicking smoke out and, like, healing a little bit. Just generally not in good shape, sort of barely make it to the runway in one solid piece.
Friends of yours?
No, but it looks like they got shot at.
Yeah, big bullets, too. Kind of thing you'd expect to see on, like, an aerial weapon or
Yeah,
or a
that ain't good. I'm gonna check the fuel levels.
on your plane. Totally fine.
Yeah, just in case.
As you get off the plane, Sula, you are greeted. Dr. Farron, Dr. Farron. Hey, my name's Buddy. I was told by Butcher to come get you. You use the passenger, right? That's going up into the sky, right?
Yeah.
Like just up into the sky.
Middle of the ocean. That's the one.
Yeah, thought so. You couldn't think any other reason a lady as cultured as yourself would be here. You know, this is kind of a backwoods, middle of nowhere. And no offense, Babs, but
Oh, buddy,
Stick
you'd be
a thumbs
surprised.
up from outside the door. Not taken.
I've been all sorts of places.
right this way. You got bags or anything I can carry for you?
Oh, just the one. And we'll kind of like pull out a decently sized duffel, but still a duffel, and just thunk. Thanks.
Across the runway, the other plane's door flies open.
You might go check on the smoking heap.
How is Martinique going to disembark from the plane?
Like freedom at last. You've been trapped on a raft for like 2 years, and there's finally lands, just like kissing the ground.
Like the full 9.
Yeah.
Well, they look like they've been through something.
So
Yes, you've made it to Uruguay.
as soon as you see that, your attention is drawn up by a leg that comes out of a perfect leg that comes out of the doorway, followed by a second perfect leg. You follow it up a perfect form and see those piercing blue eyes.
I will return them with my own aquamarine pearls. I will smile beneath my pencil mustache and say, "Good morning, legs. What are their names?"
I have not named them. Perhaps it's a custom where you're from that I'm not familiar with. But my name is Aura Zephyr. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Fabian Ortega, and I am at your disposal. Please, I'll offer my hand to help her off.
She
I'm going to try to
takes
step
the
over
last step.
Martinique.
She says,
Pardon?
"Be very careful. That is precious cargo. He's the finest chef in all the world. I'm told."
Oh, well, there's no spices in the dirt. What happened to your plane? Is everything okay? Are you hurt?
Oh, we had a minor kerfuffle with some gentlemen with a Thompson, and nothing to worry too much about.
Wow, brave and beautiful. All shades here. Do you need help, fella?
Well, look up. Have I met the ferret yet, or is this new?
It's up to y'all. You all may
Yeah,
very well know each other prior to this.
it is definitely up to you. I can't imagine that if you are the best chef, the bestest of chefs.
Mm-hmm.
Fabian is definitely a connoisseur of goods, even if he doesn't pay for them. So,
Oh yeah, no. Like if you are welcome in my house, in my kitchen, you eat for free. If you're not welcome, you pay a lot.
Martin?
Fabian? Seeing a friendly face, I will get up. Oh my god, how are you doing?
It's good. It's good to see you. Who shot at you? I'm so sorry.
I don't know. Aura came, and then we got on the planes. Every time, there's never just a simple up and down. There's always someone shooting at you. Something's exploding. We might crash into a mountain.
There was a mountain.
They were fascists. Nothing to be concerned with. She makes her way over to where Sula and Babs are talking, and extends.
I think we're just sort of sharing knowing nods and looking at this group.
Watching this happen.
We should probably introduce each other to each other at some point. Be like, right.
Extends a hand to.
So Babs will introduce herself and say, so that one's a ferret, and that one's the best chef in the world, and I don't know why they're here.
Well, he looks like a human to me.
You'd be surprised.
Interesting. This is going to be fun. Well, I'm Dr. Farron, but you can call me Sue.
Oh, well, Sue, it's real nice to see you.
Aura calls
You're
over.
flying to the middle of nowhere.
Oh, well, this is the middle of nowhere I haven't been to yet, but it does seem to be like it's the best middle of nowhere to get to where I need to go.
Are you aware you're not the only passenger?
I'm guessing it's at least one of these.
Ms. Butcher, I presume.
It's probably all of them.
Aura says.
Morning.
And you must be then Dr. Farron, and she extends a hand to you.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Likewise.
Mysteriously informed.
I had expected to greet you when we had reached our destination, but unfortunately, due to the activities of some fascist agitators, we needed to reroute to come here. But if there's room for one more, I would love to ride along with you as we are going
The
to
old
the same
magpie's
location.
got plenty of room for people getting shot at by fascists.
It's you. Where were you? Where were you headed? Exactly.
Well, I'm not meant to spoil the surprise, but it is in fact my, shall we say, benefactor who has invited these two folks to.
Oh, come now. Well, if we're going to spend a significant amount of time on this trip, we may as well start to get to know each other now. And I don't know if I have to spend anything for this, but I do have nothing but the truth. And story guide characters in the scene view your character as either intimidating or trustworthy or both, and therefore present information to your character. May use the information as a free additional clue the first time you enter procedural scene. You may spend inspiration to make this a number of additional clues equal to your intuitive facet instead. So I would like some clues. So I'm going to spend an inspiration, and I will give her I will blink through my Clark Gable eyes and give her my best Desi Arnaz smile.
He says, well, you certainly do know how to get a girl to open up. He says, my employer is, in fact, Dr. Topol. And where we are heading is, well, it's many things, but among them is a vessel of his construction called the Sky Sweeper. I serve there as the excuse me, 1 second. Um, city manager. Yes. Sorry.
Well, you work for Dr. Topol then.
Yes. I have done so these past several years.
Oh. Well, then I'm sure we will have other questions on board. And I will turn to, I hear that there was a doctor with us as well.
That'll be me.
Uh, Fabian Ortega, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Dr. Farron. Or Sula,
Doctor?
if you like.
If you like.
Sure.
Sula, then. What brings you to Uruguay or to our destination? A doctor of...
Well, I have a couple of doctorates, but it's of no concern, really. I think it's mostly probably my anthropological work that's interested. I mean, it might not be. I'll be entirely honest with you. I've just been told that Dr. Topal is a fan, and I've been invited in that way. So I think I'll be finding out what I'm doing there just as soon as you do.
Well, an employee of Dr. Topol, a fan, someone who Dr. Topol is a fan of, clearly the best chef. I mean, best pilot, best plane. What more could I ask
Best
for?
plane. Tap tap.
Best plane.
Should be interesting.
It's not gonna be boring.
I will kick Buddy aside and grab the doctor's bag.
Oh, excuse me.
Sue doesn't laugh. That's 100% CJ. Oh, smooth.
Right this way.
Sue's just like,
Babs will absolutely laugh a little bit. Bunch of charmers.
Aura says, "Forgive me for being for cutting the pleasantries a bit short, but we should be making our way soon. It's going to take a bit of time to arrive at our destination."
of course.
Should be
We
quite
can
the
have
plane.
more pleasantries on the
Do
plane.
we have any
right,
more
Ms. Butcher?
passengers coming? Should we expect more crash landings or people on fire?
I should probably grab something if Martinique is going to be flying with us.
What, a snack?
Well, I imagine there's no wet bar, so I'll be right there.
Oh, that's the right drink it.
Thank you, Fabian. Thank you.
I will go procure medicine for the good chef and snacks.
Excellent.
So Mr. Rogers, the puke bag's right where you left it. Freshly cleaned. I just keep it there just for you.
Thank you so much, Babs. Like,
Mhm.
you're the only pilot that I could ever
Service
like, ride
with a
with.
smile and a gun.
That's why I feel safe in your plane. Like you got that. You always
You
have the
should.
gun.
It's
with
only
you.
crashed twice.
Why do you keep telling me that right before we
It's
take
fine.
off? I'm just gonna like sit down. I'm gonna keep talking, but just enjoy the ground a little bit more before we leave.
Aura does walk over to you and say, "Mr. Rogers, I hope that you'll be able to grow accustomed to altitude."
I mean, I know it's a long flight, but I've flown before. I usually have my medicine, as Fabian calls it, but even if without the medicine, like I can make it through. It just takes some of it's like channel and calm down.
Well, just see to it that you don't medicate yourself to the point you can't cook.
Oh
Once we
no,
arrive.
no. My cooking is my art. Like that is beyond fear. But
Right.
as there is no stove on the plane, there's less art to focus on. So something else is really helpful.
That is fair.
That's
How-
a good idea.
How long till we're able to
Don't
take to
go
the
to plane.
skies?
Can you
In
make that happen?
kitchen.
Ms. Butcher, how long till
Oh,
we're able
hi.
to take to the skies?
Oh, we're ready to go.
Forgive me. Well,
I'm gonna wait for Fabian, sorry, to come back with the medication.
Yep, I come back with rum, tequila, and snacks.
excellent. You load onto the plane. It's a couple-day flight from where you're at, so you're literally going to be in the sky till probably early Friday morning.
As long as we've got enough fuel for it.
You do, and remarkably, almost suspiciously, the skies are nice and clear. Everything is beautiful and smooth. the flight there is relatively uneventful. Throughout the time, Aura is very cagey about the nature of the place. Only that she says that it defies description. That she's certain that anything she could tell
try,
you,
won't you? Please.
anything she could tell you will only be dwarfed the moment you lay eyes upon the what would I 2 seconds the skysweeper, and that there are in fact many people that will be joining this celebration.
Are they all as remarkable as the cast you've assembled here?
Oh, I'm certain none are quite as remarkable as everyone in this plane, but they are certainly remarkable.
Go ahead.
Anthropology. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not nearly as learned as others. What does that study cover? What does that field of study cover?
People, history, usually together. Bit of everything. It's a little bit of sociology, a little bit of archaeology, which, by the way, is people and history. And yeah, essentially, I mean, it's highly reductive to say so, but it's a bit of both, really. But also a lot more. I do tend to ramble, so I'll cut that short. I also really like science and machines. Your plane, Babs, is remarkable. I cannot believe that it can hold so much fuel.
Please describe
I'm quite surprised too.
Please describe the Magpie for us.
Sure. So it is absolutely a flying boat. I think it is a remodel of like one of the first flying boats. I think they started being a thing somewhere in the late 20s. So it's definitely been through the ringer. It's been refitted for combat, and the interior is sort of a mishmash of like benches and seats. It doesn't entirely make sense. This is clearly not assembled by a company. It is a passion project. Probably at least 2 planes have gone into constructing this plane. It's a big chunk of aluminum and wood inside, and it's kind of cozy, and it smells a little bit of like home, maybe. Hopefully there's a bathroom, though.
I would assume there's a bathroom. There's probably also, we'll say, a way for you to store extra fuel inside and refuel from.
I think these planes are often typically quite large and can carry a number of passengers. I feel this one's not a huge one, like it would be medium sized, but the passenger space is actually not going to be very big. It's got to have a lot of fuel for the long haul flights.
So the Magpie is definitely big enough to kind of steal time occasionally, right? With people.
I mean, probably yes. Yeah.
Because now I'm knowing that what is her name? The one that works for the doctor.
Aura Zephyr.
Aura. Knowing that Aura works for Dr. Topol, I'm going to want to try to find the other doctor, Sue, in kind of whether, while getting coffee or like just getting a snack or something, I will likely slide in.
There's a couple of quiet areas. There's got to be a spot to take a nap and stuff like that. So,
as a scholar of anthropology, I find that there were a couple stories circulating about these crystal skulls. Are you familiar? Someone said that they might be of Mayan origin.
Crystal skulls. And would I have to roll something to see if I recall any of this information about a crystal skull?
We can roll to see how much you recall about it.
Sure.
So that would be culture. Failing that, you could also rely on, I would probably say, I'd let you do science with a complication, or I would let you, probably the culture or science with a complication.
Well, for an anthropologist, I gave myself embarrassingly low culture, so when I'm able to up my skills, I'll need to fix that. That's a CJ problem, not a Sula problem. So I'll do science with a complication.
That's fine.
And do I pair this with an attribute?
Yes. Which
This would be
what do you think? Would
intellect,
be
I would say.
intellect?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So it's going to be a complication of 1.
Okay.
It's not major, but just whether or not you gain full information or partial information. If you can't resolve the complication, some of the information will be inaccurate.
No problem. Let's see how we go. Oh, I dropped one on the floor.
It's a 10.
That's
gosh.
additional drama.
Give me just a second, though. It's looking nice.
Excellent.
Okay, well, I don't know where that went, so I'm going to roll a different one.
Beautiful.
It's gone forever.
It's a 13. It's a 13.
Okay, so we have success, 10, 10, neutral, or not success, I mean. Success, success. Okay, and then I get to reroll my 10s. So that's 2 10s. Not a success, success. Okay, that's 6 successes.
Excellent. So yes, you're intimately familiar with these. They've started showing up probably in the last 10 to 15 years. The first couple showed up in Europe. And the legend that's being sort of passed around about these is that that they were used in Mayan religious ceremonies, and that supposedly they carried the power for the priests to call down the ire of the gods and smite their enemies with these crystal skulls.
Right.
But you also know, with that many successes, that at least 2 of them in circulation have been verified independently, scientifically, as forgeries. They were created with modern, like carving techniques.
Mm-hmm.
There was evidence of drilling with metal, for example, things along those lines. So they're widely regarded to be, they're popular knowledge, they're regarded to be these fascinating artifacts, but among the scientific community, they're kind of regarded to be something of a joke. One might almost argue one of the first items of pseudoscience.
Okay. Yeah, so Sula will kind of laugh a little bit and say, I know a bit about the crystal skulls. For one thing, I do happen to know that there's a number of, about 2, really convincing forgeries going around. And, well, what you think about them really does depend on your point of view, I would say. They were supposedly property of Mayan priests to smite their enemies, but realistically speaking, it's a lot of people think it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo anyway.
When you say smite, what do you mean? Smite?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm extrapolating here, but I'm assuming, the whole
Smiting
9 yards, injure someone in some way, shape, or form. I mean, if it really did work.
with a skull. That's remarkable.
I would say it's magic, right? Which
who could say?
who could say?
Who could say? Well, I mean, would one such as yourself, obviously, well, that you wouldn't be interested in such a thing then, considering it's, hogwash, right? It's
not the top of my list, but any sort of fascination or curiosity, well, I suppose it's repetitive to say it piques my curiosity, but
and this skysweeper, this place we're going, I can't help but notice it kind of, doesn't it seem to bear a bit of you're a fan of history as well, a bit of parallel to the Manfred von Zorbo theft of the Empire State Building incident?
That's actually very fascinating. I mean, he did have that whole thing about the sky, right? So,
well, how many of them can there really be?
True.
Actually, I don't know.
But
Babs might know.
How many people share some of his ideas without necessarily his eccentricities? It may just be someone who's acquired some sort of similar technology, for all we know.
For all we know.
Speaking of for all we know, you don't know this Dr. Torpal, do you?
No,
do you?
not even a little bit. No, I received an invitation I'm acting as a an ambassador for a friend who can't make it.
I see. Well, um, I really don't know what this is all about, and I suspect if they're trying to gather the greatest minds, either someone's looking for some sort of clout, or there's more to it than we know.
About that time,
Yeah.
I would like Babs to go ahead and give me a piloting roll. I would like Martinique to give me whatever you're going to rely on to keep your shit together, skill wise, skill and attribute. You tell me, and I'll probably allow it. And the rest of you roll just integrity plus whatever you would like to rely on for keeping
Is
your.
this it's turned to debate attributes? Is this piloting in response to a suddenly changing circumstance?
Suddenly changing
or-
circumstance. Yeah, you hit some
maybe
very
I will
violent
do-
turbulence.
Oh,
Let's do
no.
maybe pilot and dexterity then.
That would work.
I will go with cunning because that's really what I rely on here.
Excellent.
I'm gonna also go with cunning, just knowing where to grab so I don't fall
Okay,
over.
And what are you leaning on, Martinique?
We'll go integrity and composure. Just
Right, and this is going to be at difficulty 2. If you fail this roll, it will give you some complications on your next series
So-
of rolls.
Target number 7.
Correct. 8.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, 8.
8. Okay, cool. Then I have 3.
Does meets it beats it in this system?
Yes.
2.
Excellent.
I have 3.
Just
Excellent.
true.
2. Excellent. You managed to not lose your lunch. What would you like to rely on to keep from being flung from your seat, Martinique?
I mean, I assumed since things were going well, he would have been talking to Babs anyway. So I think he might just be bouncing around.
In the cockpit? All right. That's
Yeah, that might be a thing.
fine. And Babs, you got how many successes?
3.
You see up ahead some clouds. Nothing concerning. They look like nice, fluffy, white, pretty clouds. But as you approach them, you start to hit the roughest turbulence you've ever experienced. You are able to keep the plane righted, and you notice with your successes, Babs. Not only do you notice that you're able to keep the plane righted, but you notice that Aura seems completely unsurprised and not caught off guard by this turbulence at all.
Would have been nice to warn me.
And spoil all the fun. As you clear the cloud line, you see a massive city laid out before you. Probably, if you'd imagine, like flying over New York City right now. This thing is probably takes up square miles in the air. You can see several balloons attached at various points. A couple of massive propellers on the underside, and Aura leans into the cockpit and nods in a direction and says, "The runway's over there, Babs."
What? Right. Let's head over there and try not to hit a balloon.
Excellent. You managed to land.
Goodness. That's the biggest propeller. Oh my. I think Babs might actually fully take the scenic route, like the Deep Space Nine opening where they go around the whole thing and they're
keep
admiring
circling.
the pylons. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Lower Decks is so good. I think she's gonna go. I'm gonna take the scenic route and then take a look at this thing.
No, Babs, please don't take the scenic route.
As you're
Just don't hold on to any levers.
as you're going along the scenic route, you count probably a couple of dozen planes landed on the runway. You get to the northern end of the platform, and there's another runway. You see there are
runways. Goodness.
buildings on this thing. Some of them one might even term skyscrapers. You can
Scrape
see
in the sky while they're scraping the sky.
you see people moving about in the streets. Looks like a busy day. And as you're circling back around to that second runway, after you've taken the majestic vision that is the skysweeper, you see a gentleman walking out onto the runway as if coming to greet where you've been told to land. dressed in a navy blue shirt, a long blue cape, and a pair of black slacks. He has
I am there. Is that you?
tight cut dark hair and like a pencil mustache.
Aping my stash.
Be careful, guys. This is definitely Lando Calrissian. I'm already suspicious.
The deal's being altered. Yeah, let's go in for a nice, gentle landing.
All right, go ahead and give me another piloting check at a difficulty of 2. So you're going to need to get 2 successes to not jack up this landing.
And then one of these rerolls, I have 3 again. 8. It's 8, right? So
Yep.
8, 9, 10. Yeah.
Yep, you land rather elegantly. Martinique is not compelled to get sick, and you are firmly on the deck. You're certainly not on the ground.
Do I gotta like throw an anchor out the side? How does this work?
No, just open the door and we'll be on our way. You see a couple of runway hands like running over the stairway to get to the like steps that go up to the door for you. I imagine it's a couple of steps up off the ground.
This is
And
amazing.
Well, welcome aboard. Maybe.
the gentleman walks up to as you're leaving the plane and he says, "Welcome to my city in the sky. This is the Sky Sweeper. I'm very pleased to see you were all able to make your way here. I am Dr. Nash Topol," and he bows. Dr. Farron, I presume, and extends his hand out.
Pleasure to meet you.
He kisses your
Dr.
hand.
Topol. This is quite the place you have here.
Oh, this little thing? Yeah, just a small operation that some associates of mine and I have put together. Babs Butcher, I have heard many tales of your piloting skills.
Well, I didn't hit a building.
I appreciate that. I noticed you. There's a certain. It takes a certain kind to take the scenic approach to our runways.
There's a certain charm to this place. I had to take a look.
And Mr. Rogers, Chef Rogers, thank you so much for coming here. I look forward to dining on your delectable treats. I've heard so much. Maxwell Mercer recommended you personally when I said I needed a chef for this place.
Maxwell, yes, he lovely fellow. And might I say, this is also a magnificent city you have here.
Well, thank you. I've taken quite some time putting it together, and I'm sorry, sir. Are you?
Oh, don't you worry about me. Go ahead and pay more attention to the doctor. I would like to spend momentum and inspiration for Saturnalian statement as I just kind of look around. And I don't really look at him. I just kind of look around. So for Saturnalian statement, it says, spend an inspiration and make a persuasion action against the target's composure in response to the target taking an action. In this instance, it will be looking and asking me questions at all. If successful, your character interrupts the target's action, misdirecting it with a shout and causing the target to do the opposite of whatever they intended. The target character, yeah. So, yeah.
So it goes against his composure.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead. Your difficulty.
We're making my persuasion attempt.
Yeah.
Is this a new scene?
Oh, this is a new scene. Yes.
Okay. All right. We get inspiration back at the beginning of the scene, right?
Yes.
And right. Okay.
So your difficulty on this roll is going to be 6.
All right. I would like to go manipulation. I'll go persuasion.
Okay.
Since we're just meeting, this is me meeting you for the first time. Can I use striking for this?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
All right. So I will, I'll do that as well. All right. Here we go. Difficulty was what? 800?
6.
Jesus.
Oh, dear God.
I would also like to spend an inspiration to take advantage of my intuitive facet, if that's okay.
You may do so.
Jesus. All right. Man. Endo. Got you. I got you. Let's do it. Let's do it, buddy. All right, there's a 10. Hold on.
Mhm.
That's 8, sir.
Excellent. He immediately turns his attention to Aura and says, Aura.
I yelled at my look at the doctor. Don't worry about me. I'm fine here. Boy, it sure is loud up here. I just kind of keep walking.
Aura, my dear, thank you so much for picking everybody up. And he kisses her on both cheeks and says, well, I have a lot to get ready for the ball tonight. We will be meeting at the Holiday Commemorative Ballroom at 8 p.m. sharp. Until then, I would invite you all to take in the city, look around, enjoy yourselves, visit the park, perhaps the zoo. You may be able to squeeze in a movie, perhaps. I don't know that we have the latest newsreels, but I think we have last week's. But it is a pleasure to have you all here, and I look forward to talking business after we've had a chance to, sample some fine cooking and kick on our dancing shoes a little bit. What do you say?
Thank you for your hospitality, Doctor.
Of
I'd
course.
say hell yeah. That sounds great.
My city is your city.
Remember you
I'm gonna go
said
to the
that.
park. Look at a giraffe. Let's go.
He says, Aura, please show them around, and turns on his heel and starts walking into a nearby building.
Zula's gonna kind of sidle up to Aura and be like, Aura, is it all right if I call you that?
Yes, please.
I have just a little question, actually.
Sure.
Does Dr. Topal have, I know this sounds suspicious, I'll explain myself, have any enemies of any sort that might want to see him not succeed?
Well, I'd hate to spoil your good time, but as you might imagine from the construction of the skysweeper, Dr. Von Zorbo is, you might say, a bit of a rival.
I see.
There's some animosity between them.
Javon Sorbonne is a bit of a rival. I might have encountered someone on the way here on the train who potentially might have tried to garner the location of this place with a pistol, one that melts your flesh.
Perhaps
I was successful, I think, in telling them that it was above the Red Sea. But it might be something he wants to know about.
I'll make sure to let the chief constable know, and that may explain the encounter that we had as well, Mr. Rogers. Are you doing all right with the altitude?
I'm a little lightheaded, but the fact that I can't see that we're up in the air makes it a lot easier, actually.
Yes, if you it helps if you when you're looking out towards the horizon, just envision that it's fog.
We're
Yeah.
awfully high up.
Yes, the skysweeper has a cruising altitude of 20,000 feet.
But there's no cabin or anything. We're just up here. I'm not lightheaded or
Yes, that's due to the telluric air processors. Each of the it's really quite remarkable. It's a bit beyond me technically, but from what I understand from the doctor, the engines use some sort of telluric energy to keep something of an artificial bubble of air over the area. They also are able to draw hydrogen from the clouds themselves to keep the balloons filled.
so we're just huffing telluric air.
Well, yes.
Great.
Well, we're huffing regular air. The engines are telluric. I assure you, the breathable air here is not.
Oh, I'm sure it's great. Sure. Tastes marvelous. No problem at all. Everything's great.
Excellent. Well, tell me, what would you like to see? And on that note, on that question, I'll give you all week to think about it because that's where we're going to wrap things up for tonight.
Went by so fast.
I want to look at a dress. I want to go to the edge. I want to see a movie. Got a whole list.
Does anyone have any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns about today's session?
I'm
No, I think this is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I am so glad I picked the gifts I did. Oh my goodness. Oh man. I had no plan B. Like I had nothing.
You should be glad that there was no need for plan B because Babs was definitely going to try to lie on your behalf. And Babs has no social skills whatsoever.
Ferreted. Got
I
there.
would have been rolling maybe, I don't know, one integrity and 2 dots of manipulation if we're lucky.
I've made some notes on skill areas that when and if I have the opportunity to expand.
Well, a couple things as we're wrapping things up for the night. One thing I'll let you know at the beginning of the next session, you will have the opportunity to make tweaks to your character. So if you found, for example, there was a skill that you should have a dot in that you don't, you can move a dot from one skill to another or from one attribute to another. And then as long as you mark it and you make sure you roll it that game, you're good to go. So you get the opportunity to do that at every game. But before we'll do that at the beginning of next session. Since it is the end of the session, I do want to touch base and see if any of you have attained any of your aspirations as of yet. Has Martinique, you did not emotionally support any friends this time yet?
I needed all the support this time around.
And nor did you punch anyone out a window.
No, sadly.
Have you overcome your fear of flying?
I'm gonna say not yet. It's still a work in progress.
I'm sorry this whole session had you so frightened, but I had to get you up to this ship.
You have to be there.
That's fine. Did Sula get a chance to establish any meaningful relationships?
No, she's revealed herself to be even more shallow than I thought.
Excellent. Apply super science narratively in a useful way? Not yet.
Not yet.
Nor have you invented something grand yet.
No.
Babs, did you get a little heartbroken or find something that luck couldn't solve yet?
Not yet, no.
What
But
about
there's just so many dashing companions.
what about discovering something new?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the Sky Island quite counts, but it feels like she's on the right track for it. Like it feels like this is the first step to discovering something new. I feel like it's probably not whatever it is that she saw in the storm, but it is amazing.
Excellent.
And she's excited to keep discovering more stuff. But this doesn't feel like the end of that quest yet.
That is fair. And then let me just
And
check.
she also didn't get into a fist fight on a plane.
You did not get into a fist fight on a plane yet.
Not during game, at least.
But you will have ample opportunity to do that all next session because you're still technically on a plane. So
That's true. Yeah.
Excellent. And the ferret, you did not yet get a chance to
I'm not stolen a Flux MacGuffin.
steal a Flux MacGuffin, nor have you made a nude escape yet.
Not yet.
And your
Forgot
heroic
about that.
redemption arc is merely at its beginning. But you did all show up and play well, and you did reach a group milestone. You arrived at the Sky Sweeper, so you may all have 2 experience for that. And since you've all decided that the NPC was Lando Calrissian, I'll give you all an extra XP as well. So,
If he wasn't, he is now.
Right.
It's in my head now. That's the headcanon.
Cool.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll have to bring a Colt 45 to next week's stream.
The barbershop. The barbershop. That's where I'm going to go.
All right, so that is experience. I also do want to remind you, obviously we didn't do a whole lot of dice rolling this session. It was a lot more getting you where you needed to be. But you do all have a pool of momentum from which you can draw. I want to remind you to keep me honest about that because when you fail a die roll, that momentum goes up. and you can spend that momentum to do things like activate skill tricks and re-roll failed rolls.
I actually had a question about that because
Sure.
I'm using the Trinity core sheet, so it doesn't have momentum on it.
Correct.
Is momentum on the adventure sheet?
The adventure sheet's still a work in progress. So
Okay, because I know like with inspiration, there's still like the whole. It seems to operate the same way. Like you get one at the end of the scene, you get one when you fail a roll, like that kind of stuff.
right.
So okay, I just wasn't sure like whether I'm happy to use both. Trust me, momentum is awesome.
Right.
I'll take all the advantages I get because Lando, but six composure, jeez, man. I mean, of course he has six composure, but damn.
Well, you got to stay smooth when Darth Vader is changing the deal on you. Exactly. All right. So on that bright shiny note, let's go ahead and do our outros. Since we started off with Lecco last time, we'll start off with Bunny this time. So Bunny, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you've been playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, anything you'd like to promote.
Sure, awesome. So hi, I'm gonna struggle to speak in my own weird accent now. I am Millie and or Bunny Hearted. You can find me at twitch.tv/Bunny Hearted or other Bunny locations at Bunny Hearted VT. I'm a cozy, comfy, trans and retro styled bunny VTuber with a little slime that lives on my head and a song in my heart. I have no idea. I use the pronoun she and her or they and them, and I've been playing Barbara Babs Butcher, who is a dashing disaster pilot who uses the pronouns she and her. And this was really fun. I'm really excited for next week.
I am so glad to hear that you had a good time, and I am very much looking forward to next week. Next up, and I've thrown the link to your channel in the chat. Everybody go over and make sure you shoot a follow and a sub. Next up, Chaz, please give us your pertinence.
Chaz, he, him, PhD student who studies video game music and storytelling. And I play poor Martinique Rogers, who, like, all he wants to do is take care of his friends, but he had nothing this session. He got shot at, he was in planes. And yet, still a great time.
Building that empathy.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that despite the several difficulties thrown in Martinique's way, you still were able to enjoy yourself. And as always, it is a pleasure to have you here. Thank you. And next up, CJ, please, your pertinence.
Hello. Again, I'm CJ Starry on pretty much everywhere. If you want to know other places that I do TTRPs, you can, if you're watching this VOD, you can scroll to the beginning. My pronouns are they, them. And I've been playing Sula Ferret, who is she, her. And I'm excited for her to grow as a person, but I'm not sure that's happened yet. Featuring the grandfather clock.
Well, you need to have a place to start from which to grow. So we've got that, established. So now next session can be all about the character growth.
I can't wait.
And thank you again for being here. And I really had a blast interacting with you. Absolutely. Last but most certainly not least, we have Lecco. Please, your pertinence.
Yeah, I am Lecco Rodriguez, a personal trainer specialized in weight loss and body recomposition. If you like, you can go to teamlecco.com for a free consultation, as fitness is a very personal journey. And we need the people we can to help us along every step of the way. You can follow me on Twitter at teamlecco, TEAMLECO, and soon to be social media everywhere else for those things. Slip into my DMs, ask me questions publicly or privately. Playing Fabian Ortega, the ferret who almost had to ferret immediately upon arriving. He almost ferreted right in his pants. But I appreciate the being said in one hand, here's a really cool heist you to do, but now we're going to throw you on a plane packed with hotties and just totally distract you from any adventure possible, and then we're gonna Lando you with my mustache. So I think Fabian's probably gonna have to shave next session because there can only be one.
That's fair.
I mean, you could have
And when you do,
let's go.
Dr. Topol will be hit by lightning.
I don't know. You're like some sort of grand sneak thief. You could just like become a ferret and go shave his mustache off.
I could. I'm gonna steal his mustache. That's going on here.
And then you'll have two mustache.
I mean, you can also change aspirations when you do your tweaks. So if you want to add steal his mustache to your aspiration,
just half of it. It's just gonna be the middle half.
Or just give him the reverse Hitler, just like.
Yeah. But no, I've had a whole lot of fun, and yeah, I've decided that that I will continue to refer to Babs as the bold, bombastic, bellicose bombardier because there's a lot of B's. And it sounds
That
fun
was
to say.
fantastic.
I grew up on DC Comics, so I love alliteration. So
Yeah, no, great
Marvel
session,
too.
great people. Loving all this, and yeah, go ahead and plug all your Kickstarter stuff because y'all deserve money. This is great.
Excellent. Yes. And speaking of which, Realms of Pugmire is our current Kickstarter. When we kicked it off today, and when last I looked, we were about 2/3 of the way there. Let's check in and see what the numbers are telling us. Yeah, we are at just over 22,000 of a $30,000 goal as of this broadcast. So things are moving along nicely, but now is the time to get in early, get a look at it. I believe I heard the number 72 thrown around as to the page count of the preview that is up right now if you go back it. So you can go get a good look at kind of the meat of the opening of the book. And I believe the current preview also has some character creation insight into it. And we love good doggos on the channel, just like the one that CJ has. And I'm certain...
Yes, promoting Pugmire.
So yeah, definitely go over and check that out. You can, if you're enjoying Trinity Continuum Adventure, see we have also Baxter the Best Boy right there, so we're in good shape. If you're interested in Trinity Continuum Adventure, it is currently available for pre-order on BackerKit. So if you just look that up on BackerKit, it'll show up. Let's see, I think I might have seen that link make its way through here earlier, courtesy of our wonderful Ian Watson. Yep, I did, and so I'm going to paste it right back in the chat because that's how we do around these parts. So you have a link right there if you want to go check that out. I've been Travis Legge. My pronouns are he and they. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them, including I would had the honor and pleasure of doing a little bit of writing on Adventure. So I would really love it if you would check it out and let us know what you think. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, wash your hands, get your shots, all that fun stuff. We will see you this time next week for more Trinity Continuum Adventure. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See y'all.